Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 33-year-old Pennsylvania resident Brian Healion was a member of the Proud Boys when he went and helped in the Capitol attack. And Healion was included in a Proud Boys group that was specifically created for January 6th. You may remember this from all the coverage that I did on the Proud Boys, but they called it the Ministry of Self-Defense, which, yeah, not really just for self-defense, but okay. So members of this MOSD group, they were basically hand-selected based on their, number one, their willingness to follow orders. They said you have to follow orders without question. Also, their willingness to physically fight anyone that they perceived as their enemies. So members in this MOSD group were forbidden from discussing anything that went on in that subgroup with anyone else, including other Proud Boys members who weren't involved in that specific group. So they set up an encrypted messaging channel, and it was for those members. And the people in this group were making comments like, quote, "Time to stack those bodies in front of the Capitol Hill." And then Healion was made a member of the group. So he became a member of this MOSD subgroup of the Proud Boys on December 30th of 2020. And in this group, he was asking questions about, hey, you know, what's going on the day of the certification of the electoral votes? He clearly knew that that's what the day was for. He was also asking what kind of gear he should buy to bring with him that day. And then the then chairman of the Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, he recommended that people bring plate carriers. So that is the vest where you have a plate, and so nobody can kill you with a bullet or a knife or whatever. So Healion also joined another group chat that was established by his local chapter leader. This was in, again, his Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. So the leader there was Zachary Rell. He is in prison right now. So in that group, they were sharing their blood types with each other, clearly anticipating violence. On January 6th, Healion met up with other Proud bigots. They met, as you all probably know and remember, at the Washington Monument, and he was photographed several times that day, flashing the white supremacist hand gesture. So he marched to the Capitol with the other members of the group. As he reached the Capitol, he pulled a mask over the lower portion of his face. Kind of odd, right? When you're not doing anything wrong, that you would cover your face. So he and the others got to Peace Circle. I'm sure you guys also remember that that was the site of the very first breach of the restricted grounds. It got very violent, very fast. A female police officer was just thrown from the gate, from the barricade that they had set up. She cracked her head on the concrete step, fell unconscious. So anyway, Healion personally didn't take part in that violence, but he did follow the mob onto the Capitol grounds after they overran and assaulted the police. He made his way to the front of the police line. He was with Rell and others, and he was watching as other people were assaulting officers. And other people were trying to break the barricades. And then at some point, Healion reached out. He tried to grab a barricade himself. The first time, he wasn't able to get a grip on it, but then he tried a second time, and he was successful. So he yanked the barricade away from an officer who had his hand on it. And then two other Trump terrorists jumped in, and they helped him to pull the barricade away. After that, Healion hooked up with Rell and other Proud Bigot members again, and they eventually illegally entered the Capitol together. The alarms were blaring, there was broken glass on the floor, so they very, very much knew they were not welcome inside. This was not a peaceful protest. But Healion and the others ventured further into the building. They made their way into the office of Senator Jeff Merkley. They posted pictures from there, again, flashing the white supremacist hand gesture. And then after about 20 minutes inside, he and his friends exited the building. That evening, Healion and other members of his local Proud Boys chapter, they got together and they celebrated. They celebrated their part in the attack. And Healion posted in that MOSD Proud Boys group, and he said that the way in which the public was reacting to what happened that day, quote, shows that a lot of them aren't ready to go to the next level. That's probably a bad thing in the long run. So Healion was arrested on December 10th of 2021, and he was charged with civil disorder, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building. In February of 2024, Healion pleaded guilty to the felony count, the only felony that he was charged with, which was the civil disorder charge. So he was looking at up to 5 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. However, the prosecutor requested only 15 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. And the probation department recommended an even lower sentence, but the government asked for an upward variance because of his ties to the Proud Boys, also the fact that he had vowed to follow their commands, no matter what. The prosecutor also noted that he made many pre-January 6 comments about violently storming the Capitol. And again, he knew Congress was there to certify the election results that day, so he clearly intended to block the transfer of power. So Healion also has a bit of a criminal history. They say that he was arrested 4 times. Once was for disorderly conduct, 2 times were for public drunkenness, and then another was for possession of a controlled substance. In this case, though, U.S. District Judge Timothy Kelly presided over Healion's case, and unfortunately, he sentenced him to only 100 days in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. Nowhere near enough, right? Especially for plotting to overthrow an election. I am glad, though, this is one of the few that they made him plead to a felony, so that's going to be on his record. He won't be voting in November, this November at least, that's for sure. So that is a good thing, but again, for being a part of an extremist group like that, plotting in advance to overthrow essentially the government, nowhere near enough. This judge, again and again, has been far too weak. Anyway, if I hear any more about Healion, I will let you know. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like this video. Please share it. That is one thing that is sorely missing on this channel is we do not have enough shares. That's the way that we spread the word. It's how we get more eyeballs on this information. Also the way YouTube knows that they should share the channel, that they should share the videos. So if you guys could help out with that, would so appreciate it. If you can donate, that is also a huge help. Love you all so much. Greatly appreciate all of your feedback about my doggy. Still tough, I'm going to be processing it for a while, but I'm trying to stay busy, trying to stay focused on work so that I don't just completely get consumed with the grief. So appreciate it. Love all of you. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.